How is it going, everyone? I want to go over some major changes that will be hitting PlayStation, and one of their most prominent studios, a studio that just put out one major game. We'll talk all about that, and a couple of other game updates. A game collection that I'm very excited for coming in 2026 has been dated. We'll talk all about that at the end of this video. Alright, first of all, Sucker Punch Productions co-founder Brian Fleming passes the reins to the next chapter of creative leadership. After nearly 3 decades helping bring to life an iconic franchise like Sly Cooper, infamous Ghost of Tsushima, and Ghost of Yotei, Brian Fleming has announced he's passing Sucker Punch studio leadership on to a new generation. Over the past year, Brian has worked closely with PlayStation Studios to ensure that Sucker Punch was in the best hands moving forward, with a strong foundation for the studio's continued success. Starting January 1st, longtime creative and technical leaders Jason Connell and Adrian Bentley will step into new roles as studio heads, continuing to guide the team's focus on ambitious, character-driven experiences that define PlayStation Studios. There's a lot more information I'll leave in the article below, going over some insight. I remember it was a big story about Insomniac and Ted Price retiring, and now Sucker Punch is evolving and moving on as well. I will say this, Insomniac and Sucker Punch have been two of the most consistent studios on the planet, whereas a lot of other studios, Bend has had their issues, Naughty Dog has had their issues, Santa Monica has been pretty consistent as well, but you know, while Insomniac did have the canceled Spider-Man game, Insomniac has also had an incredibly consistent output. Sucker Punch, on the other hand, they put out one game every couple of years, and from infamous Second Son, it was a long development cycle to get out Ghost of Tsushima because they were starting this big, ambitious new IP, but they ultimately got that game out. You know what I much prefer? A game being in development for 6 years and then ultimately coming out, not a live service project that was in development for 6 years and then ultimately gets canceled. I know, I'll take any opportunity I can get to bug out about live service games. Nonetheless, I think Sucker Punch's consistency level has been so strong, but you know what's interesting? Sucker Punch has never put out a game, from my recollection, that was a Metacritic reviewed game over a 90, unless one of the Sly Coopers were above a 90. Infamous and Infamous 1 certainly weren't. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus was at an 86. Sly 2 Band of Thieves was an 88, and then Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves was an 83. Infamous 1 was in the 80s, Infamous 2 was in the 80s, Infamous Second Son was in the 80s, Tsushima's was in the 80s, and Ghost of Yotei was in the 80s as well. I will say I think Infamous 1 and Ghost of Tsushima, both of those games should crack the 90 threshold. And I'd have to go back and play through the Sly Cooper games again because it's been a while since I sat down and played through all 3 games, but I would imagine one of those games, relative to when they came out, you could argue should have been above a 90, but it's a Metacritic story, you know. At the end of the day, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but to me, Sucker Punch has been one of my favorite studios. I wish that their game output was a little bit higher, but that's just the nature of the beast now, you know. We're not going back to the mid-2000s and the late 2000s where I got Infamous and Infamous 2 and then Infamous Second Son in the span of, what, 5 years, 4.5 years, around that range, and the Sly Cooper games were coming out consistently. Now, it is the 5-year turnaround, and I do know that Sucker Punch likes to focus on one project at a time, but by God, could we get an Infamous collection? Could we get those games remastered? That's the one collection more than anything. I know some people want Killzone really badly, but Killzone, you know, there's the aspect of would they get the multiplayer right, and would the multiplayer be remastered as well? I don't know. Infamous, it's a single-player experience. I literally dug up my PlayStation 3 recently to play through Infamous 1 and 2 again. And, you know, Infamous is just such a great game. I'm not trying to play that game at 30 frames per second, and it dips a lot. Infamous is a game that gets chaotic. I would love to get that game at, you know, 60 frames per second, a new set of trophies on PlayStation 5. You kidding me? I think that would do really well, and I think that would do at least something to alleviate the long development cycles. And hey, you got your live service games coming out. Let's get some of those collections to at least give something to the more hardcore PlayStation fans. But who knows what's going to happen? I am really curious on what Sucker Punch is gonna do next, because I don't think it's gonna be another Ghost title. I think they're gonna do either a new IP or they're gonna go back to one of their existing IPs, maybe an Infamous. I think Infamous, a new Infamous game, could do so well in today's climate, but we'll see what they ultimately do. They just put out Yote, so the soonest we're gonna hear about a new Sucker Punch project would probably be 2028, 2029. At this point, I don't think Yote is gonna get DLC. Like, I feel like that was a pretty conclusive experience, but we'll see where they go. They are gonna go through a bit of an evolution period here, but it seems like a lot of that has been set up already. All right, moving on from that, Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection will be launching March 27th. Yeah, Capcom at the very least realizes that a lot of their classic games people do want to play on modern platforms, and they're bringing it to modern platforms. I don't know why PlayStation doesn't follow suit, but it is what it is. Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection has been dated for March the 27th. It'll be coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. This will include Mega Man Star Force Leo, Star Force Dragon, Star Force Pegasus, Star Force 2 Zerker X Ninja, Star Force 2 Zerker X Saurian, Star Force 3 Black Ace, and Star Force 3 Red Joker. This is the similar structure that the Battle Network games had, where you did have multiple editions, and I want to say Star Force Dragon back in the day was like a GameStop exclusive, so pretty good stuff there. The only thing is we don't have a price point for this yet. Kind of got a feeling it's going to be $59.99. I would love a $39.99 price point. I think that would be great, but, you know, $49.99 even would be pretty decent, but I could see a $60 price point. We'll see how that turns out. I love the Star Force games. I thought they were great. They definitely had their issues, and the DS setup translating to modern consoles always seems to be a fairly janky setup, but I thought Castlevania the Dominus Collection did it fairly well, so hopefully Star Force Legacy Collection will do it well. They're going to be playable. It's not going to be a big deal. Don't expect the world out of these games from a technical standpoint. They are Nintendo DS games, but hopefully with the success of Battle Network Collection, with the success of Star Force Legacy Collection, hopeful success of Star Force Legacy Collection, that'll open the pathway for a new Mega Man RPG being released. I am all in favor of dual override. I'll check that out in 2027, but there's these IPs like Mega Man Battle Network, like Mega Man Star Force. You could do more with those as well, and might I add, there's more you could do with Mega Man Legends, and there's more you could do with Mega Man X as well. They did Mega Man 11, and now they're doing dual override. I don't know why they continually go back to classic Mega Man. Maybe that's the one that they think will do the best, but I feel like if you want to do the action platformers, I think Mega Man X is the one that's gonna resonate the most with people in today's day and age, but what do I know? At the very least, Star Force Legacy Collection will be dropping March the 27th. Super excited for that, and really did enjoy the gameplay of these. Played them all when they came out on the Nintendo DS. The one-lane aspect versus the grid setup that was done in Battle Network is something that initially I wasn't crazy about, but then ultimately I came to like it in Star Force. I do prefer the best Battle Network games over the Star Force titles. Yeah, Star Force is better than Battle Network 1. We don't like to talk about that over here, but you know, the Star Force is great in its own right, and I'm excited to check it out, and more Mega Man content is always a good thing for me. I don't want these 9 years in between major Mega Man titles that we had from 2018 to 2027 with dual override. Mega Man should be an IP that's consistently supported, and I think, you know, there's a lot of mileage that you can get out of it. I'm not saying that you have to throw the significant budget that you have behind Resident Evil and maybe Monster Hunter behind Mega Man, but you could do quality games that are going to sell fairly well, and probably won't be the most expensive things in the world to develop either. Just price them accordingly as well. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, major PlayStation changes over at Sucker Punch Productions, as co-founder Blind Fleming will be passing the reins on to new studio head. Sucker Punch has been one of the more consistent studios under the PlayStation umbrella, so let's hope that continues. And Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection will be dropping on March the 27th. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.